What is the Salvation Army's role, in your opinion, in fighting human trafficking historically and in present day? And how should we continue to respond?
Well, historically, the Army has been part of this, has been involved in this many years. Like in the early 1800s, you have the story of the maiden tribute, and how, thanks to Catherine, and thanks to Bramwell, and thanks to Florence Booth, who got on the bandwagon and really helped in this whole area. All the letters that they wrote and all the talking to the government, at that point, a 13-year-old could make her decision for her own body type thing, for her own involvement in her sexuality. But then, of course, it became that it was agreed that it would be 16-year-olds. So they raised the level of that. And then, of course, we have the Japanese rescue shelters in the 1900s that the Army was truly involved in there. I think one of the things we realize is that when we tackle this challenge of modern slavery and human trafficking, we have to remember that we can't do this alone. This is a huge challenge that we need to partner with others to work this out around the world. And I think that certainly we are doing that, and we certainly need to do more of it. I'm grateful for, again, the freedom that we have, the fight for freedom strategy that we have, because it gives us an understanding of how we as the Salvation Army can work through this strategy on the ground level, even in our corps, wherever we are. And I love the 8 P words that we have there. And I think it's just wonderful that we can do that. So I think we need to raise awareness wherever we can. I mean, that has to be what we need to do. We need also to continue to combat the root cause of human trafficking. We need to combat that. I mean, we need to work at that, which is poverty and inequality. So we've got to up our game, but we can't do it alone. We can do lots of things, but there are some things we can't do. And so we need the help of many people to help us to do this and be part of a good team and cooperate with other groups to help this.
Of course, in the United Kingdom, there's a good example of that where we hold a national contract, but we partner with numerous other groups who have skills and disciplines that maybe we don't have all of those. And working together on a national contract is an incredible shout out to the Army for being recognized as people who can help with this. But still, we travel internationally a fair bit, and occasionally we're taken into this world where domestic work turns into slavery, and passports are confiscated, and before you know it, what you thought was a means to work in somebody's home, to send money back to help your family, you're suddenly not only kept in a closet, you're a sex slave, you're everything opposite to thought. We went to the Middle East to celebrate our 10 years of the Salvation Army being in the Middle East, and in Kuwait, where there are literally thousands of people brought to do domestic help and so on, but in it there's incredible tragedies. We have a booth house there. Takes about 25 people, and it is the front end of the most difficult aspects of rescue, because mostly when these people arrive to do what they think is reasonable jobs, their passports are taken, their identities are oppressed, and they have no rights whatsoever. And here we find ourselves at Booth House, and the leaders are not sure how, 2 Caucasian people are going to be received, and strangers. But girls had decided that they needed to tell the general the story that they had experienced. And we were welcomed by 22 ladies, all of them very young, late teens, and they did a drama for us that typified their oppression in their workplace. But at the end, there was a lady who stepped forward. She was from Burundi, and she said in a very quiet voice, I can't tell you my story. I want to sing you my story. And we both sat there almost, we have the right to be listening to this. This is so personal. But she sung her story, and the verses told her story. But at the end of each verse, and there were about 5 of them, she had a tagline: "The best is yet to be." So for her, Booth House, our work with people, became her way out. And apparently we had to buy back her passport. We just couldn't get it. We had to buy her back for a price. And in a week or so after we were visiting, she was flying back to Burundi. And the amazing story like that is just one, because there are countless stories like that around the world. And I'd want Salvations, I'd want anybody watching this interview to know that this is happening in our backyards. So when we walk the streets of London, I'm watching a lady being hustled into a cab, and I'm saying to myself, is there something that should be done here?
Right.
Is she going into that cab willingly? You're watching a man accosting a woman on the side of the street with rough language and so on. Is he a boyfriend, or is he playing another role? And I just don't think we can walk around in the world and accept the injustice of the world and not be moved to action. That's what we're feeling as leaders of the International Salvation Army.
Yeah, we have to have our eyes open. With this. Commissioner Peddle, you mentioned something important that I just wanted to go back to, and it's this opportunity that we have for this to be a real grassroots effort. And I think that this is something really important to re-emphasize, because it is a really beautiful time in the Salvation Army where it's the first time that we actually have a coordinated global strategy. And at the same time, it does need to be empowered from the grassroots level and really to make an impact.
And I think when we were working at this strategy, that was what we really want to make known. Like, sometimes you have to push things down, other times things have to be pushed up to us. And I think this was a happy medium where the grassroots were saying, we need help. You know, we need someone to help us with strategy. We need someone to help us to be more aware of how we can be engaged in this. Because one of the things that happens, especially to Salvations, they don't know where to begin. They don't know how to go about this. They hear the stories, it's in their families or whatever, but there's a fear there. And they really wanted to put something together that would go right down the grassroots level, every core, to do that. And we are depending on our leaders, whether they be divisional leaders, territory leaders, or corps officers, to make sure that this becomes a priority for them. Because internationally, we can do what we want, but if they don't take it on themselves and work with this strategy and make this a priority down there in the grassroots, it's all in vain. And that's where it's happening. I mean, well, God bless the International Army for wanting to do something as big and powerful as this. But now we need their Salvationists and our friends of the Army to get this strategy and to work on this, so that together, you know, we can collaborate around the world, and together we can see some difference. It's gone on too long. It's got to stop somehow. Who's going to stop it? Well, we are in a good position to do that as the Salvation Army. So let's start doing it where we are, right down on the grass level, and let's make it happen.
Salvation Army belongs on the front line, where the cold face of great need exists. And Priscilla, you will know that There is a red marker that you can take from Argentina, from Buenos Aires, and you can draw a trail that goes right to Canada. It's a trafficking route, right? We're not there, but all along that route there are Corps and there's local Salvation Army people all through the States and so on. So we need to be camped outside that trail. It's the same in Europe, where they call it the Trail of Tears. Across Europe, people finding their way into the eastern parts of Europe and into the UK. We need to be there all along these paths, and I'd say to Salvationists, you shouldn't ask the question, why do we have a children's home, on the border between Malawi and Mozambique? It's not a children's home as we would think. It's a rescue center. 2 weeks earlier, the children in that place were sold by their parents because of whatever reason. And we've gone in, we've helped those children back to their nation. Why is that existing? Fact is, it does exist, and the Army's there in the middle of that. And we all need to find out how we take a part in making that a very successful endeavor for the children, for the women, and for the men who are caught in these things around the world. It's very sad.
We certainly want to be known for the leaders who've not pushed us out, but certainly want to champion.
We're champions.
We really want to do that. So, and people want to hear from us as international leaders, and we're behind them, and we want to make this happen, and this to be again one of the things that we look at and see, can we make a difference?